how a divided leadership team became a growth engine. What you're going to see, we consider as a global breakthrough, because Jody and Sid, which own the company and run the company, they were the very early adapters, courageous enough to walk into a completely new world that we discovered together. So process technology is a mid-sized, in American terms, industrial technology company, and Jody will tell us more about it, based out of Cleveland and New York, and one more site, but around that area. And what you're going to hear, mainly from Jody later, is a real client journey. So the first thing, for those who don't know, which I think most of you do know, but just to make sure, the whole concept, the whole work that we did is based on N.E.W.S organizational navigation, which is based on the N.E.W.S Compass. The N.E.W.S Compass I designed, created 21 years ago, and it's basically a universal tool to allow navigation, growth in 4 dimensions. The North stands for where do we go from here. The East works on the why. The West works on the how should we get there. And the South is all about the why nots and how do we break through them. It's very structured processes. We have many solutions, but this one here is organizational navigation. And the second player in this movement and change that we did is what Marga created, and Mark will tell us more about it later. It's the Aviad Goes AI Coach, where we use organizational strategy and culture as a live context for coaching conversations, alignment, and cascading in organizations. Okay? It's a very new development. For those who know it a bit, it's unlike any other AIs like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. It was trained and developed as a real coach. So we used those two together, okay? The navigation process and the AI coach to support it. So actually what we did is we combined human and AI in a process that we call now parallel intelligence. So you have a human navigator, which brings the big picture, the creativity, and helps to set the strategy and goals. And you have an AI coach that guides the people following the process. Each time they're in a crossroad, each time they need to make a decision, act, but at scale. Everyone moves together faster. So here is the case study. What was the challenge? So process technology grew quite fast, and some of the growth was via mergers and acquisitions. This resulted in very nice growth. At the same time, there was conflict and tension in the management team, where some people are more veteran, some are new ones, some joined from other organizations. And the result was some good degree of tension in the leadership team. Operations were a bit slow. And generally, when I met them in November, their morale was not very high. I met only the leadership team. But in the first discussions, it was very clear that this company has a huge potential, and yet the morale was not very high. And I think the most significant thing was that there was no shared sense of direction for the future. There were different views, but there was not one clear direction. So what we did a three-phase intervention, if you like. The first was organizational navigation, which I'll speak about in a moment. It's a 2 days leadership intensive. Then there was an AI coach deployment to the leadership team. So each one got an AI coach. And they got also individual assignments to do with it. I will explain later why. And we ran a monthly checkpoint to see how they are doing with it for accountability. So what are the components? The first component is the navigation process. It's when a senior leadership comes together to navigate and create the next phase together. What we do, we just take them through the process. It's very structured in clear frames, but the most important part is that the leadership team creates their future direction and the next phase with a compass. Now, we believe that because they create it, they own it. And when they own something that they created, there is a much better chance that they will actually employ, and really make it real. So this was stage one. Stage two, everyone got the AI coach. Now, what we did here for the first time ever, we took the results of the navigation process, 4 directions, and we uploaded it on the AI coach and created a unique version of the AI coach for process technology. So what happens then is that every conversation that people have with the AI coach, yes, it is done by the way of news and with a methodology, but there's also the unique content of the organization. So people are coached in context, which is unique, okay? Never happened before. And to make sure that they actually work with it, we gave each time the leaders specific assignments to do with the AI coach, either with their team or with themselves or with their peers. And what was interesting was to meet them once a month, hear from them how it was going, give them some more assignments and practical guidance how to continue. So this is phase two. Phase three is accountability, these monthly checkpoints, real world assignments with AI. So people don't just play with it or just neglect it completely. And so leaders apply their coaching in live work situations. I can say something interesting. In the first time we met after a month, there were 2 people that used it a lot from the team, 2 people that used it a bit, and 2 people that didn't use it. Now, what was astonishing, really, for me, is that the 2 people who used it a lot really flew forward with their teams, like in unprecedented way. The 2 that used it a bit were doing well, and the 2 that did not use it at all remained in the same place. So this was like an unintended retrospective study that showed that people that used it actually got accelerated with their teams, which was fascinating. 3 months passed, and what are the results? So this is February, only a month and a half ago. We looked at the results after 3 months. Remember, 3 months in an organizational life is like a blink of an eye. It's nothing. We used to work, and Mark knows this, with organizations for 4 or 5 years to get results like this. So what happened here is, first of all, the management culture went through a transformation and shift. So this group that was tensed, kind of blaming and finger pointing and so on and argumentative, became very cooperative, positive, and aligned. And they also reported after 3 months that the teams that they are working with became more engaged and even excited. So the first result is on the human cultural level. And, to get a change like this in 3 months, usually you need to do by a shock or trauma, because to do it constructively in 3 months is unheard of. The second result is also unheard of, and we don't take full credit for it at all. But within 3 months, there was a growth of 50% year over year in bookings, meaning in sales for the coming year. And this is not a startup. This can happen in a startup that is just growing. This happened in a company which is 40 years old, which is amazing. I mean, it's like science fiction. You never have anything of this sort. And again, I don't think this was the only factor, the AI and the navigation, but I think it played some role. So 50% growth year over year within 3 months. Okay. And the last result that we could see is that there was a better alignment and cascading of strategy in the organizations. Teams and individuals became more familiar with where the organization is heading and what is important in the organization, and they could begin to translate it to their daily decisions and activities. We call it line of sight. Line of sight is when people on the ship, let's say, understand where it's going to and what is their part in it, which we know by studies that usually creates much better performance the moment people understand their role in the bigger picture of where things are going to. So where is process technology now? So this is the last I heard from them, which was in February. 20 additional managers enrolled to the AI coach. So like the next 2 levels of management were enrolled with the AI coach in the specific version of process technology, meaning, and every time we did a checkpoint, we also updated it into the AI, so it kept in context. Sales continued to grow, and there was further alignment down the organizational levels. What's next? Where are we going next with process technology? So in 2 weeks, I'm going to meet the leadership team and the mid-management to go through a more leadership development kind of training beyond the AI and the working with AI. We are going to continue to do once a month AI reviews, and also we added some leadership training on a monthly basis. And we're going to go on with the navigation checkpoints, which we do every quarter, where we have champions that complete the yearly process. So everything you saw happened within 3 months. The whole process is for a whole year. And as far as I know, and I worked with individually with 2,200 organizations in my life, this, to my knowledge, never happened so fast. Maybe in very young organizations when they really start. So what we believe at the moment, that the moment people align, focus on the same direction, both business and human, something very powerful is being released. It was there before. It's a potential. But to make this potential actually come through, you need a much more aligned and focused view. So just to end my part here, what we understand now, and we see it also in other cases, that the work with this navigation and AI, the parallel intelligence, same system, it actually accelerates organizations. So human plus AI used correctly creates like a genius synergy. The human part in the navigation is co-creative, imaginative, and leading deep discussions. The AI coach is doing what it is best in, which is always present, accessible, scalable, perfect memory, consistency, safe, upskilling, aligning, no bias, no judgment, and then human follow-up and even oversight so that the usage with the AI is responsible and in context and that people are accountable.